Hello everyone and welcome back to another Mara stock chart planning update video. Do keep in mind everything in this video is my own personal opinion and I am not always 100% right of the time. But just to get started here, we're going to be going over Bitcoin first just to get a better understanding of what's going to happen with Mara. I'm going to be going over both of these charts in a little bit more of a bigger picture to keep us in line with what structure we're really in. And then I'm going to jump into the smaller picture, start off with Bitcoin, of course. But guys, so far what we have with Bitcoin, and again, everything will make sense with Mara in just a moment. But to get started, we've been keeping track of this uptrend since, of course, for like just about a week now. Where tomorrow's gonna be the last trading of the week, so it's gonna be one more strong day of volume to see if we're gonna end up actually moving down to this corrective area. Basically, the way this one structure breaks down, it'll make a lot more sense here in a moment. So ever since we've been in this consolidation phase, if I can zoom out a lot more, ever since we've been back here consolidating sideways for months, we started breaking up higher. Ever since then, we've been having pretty clear break of, I'll say, momentum with the 120 moving average, and it creates a lot of imbalances within each smaller structure, leading up to just a continuation of bigger, higher lows and higher highs. Eventually, we end up into this next consolidation phase. So within this level, we still have plenty of, I would say, support, creating a channel on the lower side. And then, of course, that is forming up here as well with all of this trading that we're seeing in the more premium ends of this structure. So we are not in the discounted half, and so far we have not had any proper, clear confirmation of a continuation into the higher side. The interesting thing is, though, is that unlike previous tops, this top ended up being a little bit more, I guess, it consolidates in a different way, indicating that we can potentially be near starting the next leg up, if that makes sense. So here we had a triangle pattern, which then eventually had finally a break of structure, finishing a 3-wave corrective move, including this overshooting B wave. We finally had the C wave bottom out. So far, we did not make it into this red zone, which is okay because we did break below this previous swing low. And then, again, this is going to make sense tomorrow in just a moment. And then what we have now in front of us is a retest of the more premium section of this overall structure, which means now if we can break previous swing highs and actually show enough momentum where we start seeing fluctuations holding this uptrend, while at the same time as we near the trend line down here, we're also seeing discounted signals within the RSI. I'm just going to focus on the hourly candles, by the way. I should have said that earlier. So just to make things a little bit more clear now, we are in, so this structure after the dip finishing that 3-wave corrective move. Again, we're still waiting on a little bit more confirmation, but I am going to consider that this third wave is complete just because of how strong these, this support line has been holding and how well we've been sort of, it's been a very healthy uptrend from here. So the next step that I'm looking for, I'm not going to give you guys a bunch of different pathways or anything. I'm just going to tell you straight up what I'm looking for. It's just better than putting a bunch of things out there. I just want to put one thing, which is, again, what I'm looking for. So basically, to continue this next movement, what I'm looking for is that, unlike this one right here, which was a strong indication of this being a strong support, but basically we had imbalance right here that formed. The price kept moving higher. We never maxed out the RSI, indicating that we can most likely see a pullback. And I did this during a live stream. I drew this out during a live stream and I caught it all before it happened. But we came back down into this imbalance. Again, RSI never maxed out on this. So strong buying occurred, finally pushing this higher, finding support once again on that trend line that formed here. and then now push up during the FOMC, and we maxed out the RSI. Eventually, it kept moving up higher. To my surprise, I didn't think we were going to hold the top of the RSI that much, just because although we had a positive FOMC meeting, it wasn't super the most dovish it could be. So I'm surprised we ended up continuing this trend higher, and then we ended up consolidating in this area. What I'm looking for now, just to give us a much more clear setup and something that it gives me a lot more confidence in my own trades as well, is that due to this consolidation phase up here, instead of just strong bullish momentum continuing, we do have a 3-day liquidity at 106, so that's showing strong resistance. We're still haven't successfully broken over it. We just have some wicks over it, so nothing too bullish there. In order for me to be more confident in taking another long position with BitU, is that I want to see three things, technically two, but I'm gonna give you guys three, and that's, I drew this retracement area just from this, so actually you guys can see if I highlight it. I was gonna do it from here, but since it will make more sense to kind of do it on the more clear dip. So from here to currently what the top of that structure is, we have this area. I am looking for the first of all, is I want to see a dip into this area. It can be very shallow. It doesn't matter. I want to see a dip in this area. Second thing is I want to see the trend line potentially being hit, even if it's just a wick like here. I also want to see the trend line being hit at the same time. And then third of all, I want to see the RSI also bottoming out and showing strong discount measurements down here closer to that 30. If it can surpass the 30, even better. But I want to see those three things hit. You could substitute the 120 moving average with the trend line, because they're, it can easily break below it just a little bit, like we've seen previously, hit the 120 and then potentially move up higher. But again, besides it going into the blue, I want to see it mixing with the support that we have with the trend line or the 120, whichever one you want. They're both equal at this moment in time, in my opinion. And then also, third of all, again, RSI showing that discount nature within it here as well. That will create just, bigger picture. It will create a healthy pullback. It will create a much more clear buying opportunity instead of just being hopeful, because the market can definitely humble us very, very quickly. Now, understanding, well, this can even fail, and we can pull back down and easily test these previous swing lows, maybe go into that red. We do have a lot of, levels of trading down here that we can see once again. But until these supports right here in the blue fail, I'm just going to be considering this to, eventually go up higher unless I'm proven wrong. So now finally, the way this mixes up with Mara is that we had a very clear pump from the last update video. I've been saying that I want the 3 checkpoints being hit, same checkpoint as Bitcoin. It's my go-to. So I wanted to see the price come down, break into this orange or yellow retracement area, at the same time break over that into this 120 moving average, and third of all, bottom out the RSI. We had this happen very, very clearly. If you guys been keeping an eye on these charts or have similar indicators to this, you would realize that even though we broke into this area, started going towards the bottom of it, and then the 120 also got broken, the RSI didn't actually max out that bottom range to make it a very, very impelling, clear buying opportunity. Eventually, shortly after, dipped even lower, and then that did go ahead and max it out even briefly, that 30 on the RSI. Ever since then, last update video, if I remember correctly on that one, I drew this out indicating that I wouldn't be surprised due to this very big gap, this very clear imbalance that I highlighted in blue, that I wouldn't be surprised if the price comes up here and then potentially finds resistance, because at the time Bitcoin was discounted, and then the FOMC meeting came out and it all got pushed up higher. During that push up, if you remember on Bitcoin, we never actually completed or surpassed these swing highs, indicating that, well, we can still be in a consolidation phase. This very clearly is not a overly bullish move until it breaks over those, and then we can completely 100% invalidate the potential of even the chance of this C wave being pushed down even lower. So we're still waiting on that. I am considering it to be done and good, but I could easily be proven wrong in that. That's why I want to see a pullback on this and begin lightly accumulating, so then we can push up potentially higher. And if we do dip down, I can easily build up the position for then what I believe is going to be a potentially bullish February. The way this pullback can affect Mara, excuse me, wrong stock, and the way that the next leg up with Bitcoin, which will go into that green area that I had on the chart that was a little bit above the current price trend. The way that could influence this is that easily we can see, Bitcoin can easily keep rising a bit more, but for that ideal setup, if we were to come down into that retracement area, find support, at that point we should see Mara easily trading back down into this choppy nature right here, which tends to act as a magnet in the future. Just like we had back here, we had some choppiness, a little bit of consolidation, and it ended up coming down and finding support within this level. At the same time, coincidentally, the RSI also shows support for that, right? And to keep in mind at the same time, we do have a higher high from here, and we do currently have a higher low from here. So we could be in the midst of seeing finally a reversal back up and start trading just like we were trading back in this level up here. But I would not be overly confident on that when it comes to just relying on it too much, because at the end of the day, if I can show you guys right here, if Bitcoin does come down to that support area, we have a retest of this low. It will create an easy, very clear understanding of this low where the choppiness is at. We will have a retest, and then we'll start after that. If Bitcoin does find support there, which I will be accumulating at that point, and if it does end up breaking or showing another break of structure to the downside, then that's where you have your risk management and put in what makes sense at the moment. But I actually forgot to go over the bigger picture real quick. This will make sense for what I'm about to say next as well. So every bull market cycle top, and I feel like this is very important because a lot of people may not know this, and the ones that do, maybe it's a good idea to remind. And I definitely need a reminder of this every now and then. But to make it simple, every bull market cycle top tends to be lower on Mara, regardless if it's higher on Bitcoin, because Mara is still a very new company. It is very new in my opinion. Still, even though it's been out here for a handful of years, just over 10 years, it still has a lot to grow. In order for this company to grow, you guys got to keep in mind that mining equipment is very expensive. It takes up a large portion of capital that this company generates, and being able to water down the shareholders gives them more capital because this company only cares about those 10 plus year holding periods, right? So short-term trading on this stock, they don't care about that, right? They want to see real investors. So what they are doing is that they're using that money to help expand. Eventually, they get their revenue cut in half every 4 years, and so they're trying to aggressively grow their mining capacity. They're being able to mine more, so that eventually they hit that sweet spot where they can actually support being able to have all these mining equipments and gain more, so they can stay ahead of the game instead of just trying to stay in line with the game, because eventually they will lose money with that. They definitely want to grow as aggressively as possible. So that's why we're seeing these lower highs on the bigger picture. And now, so I can jump into what this means going forward, is that due to, and that's also why I have my potential bull market cycle top for Mara beginning around $45. I do believe hitting 40 this year is very, very much possible, due to a lot of the bullishness and big just crypto policies and stuff that's going to be influencing a lot of this adoption in the US as well going forward in this year. Plus the reserve, right? So we have now is that since every bull market cycle top tends to be lower, all of the fluctuating that happens within the stock also tends to be lower. So even if we do find support in that blue area with Bitcoin, and then we start moving higher from there, what I'm looking to see here is potentially surpassing this, finding resistance back over here where we were previously at. And then as Bitcoin continues to fluctuate, even if it goes higher, if it continues to fluctuate, what I'm looking for is we saw this last year. I had plenty of videos last time we had a consolidation channel like this in Mara. Bitcoin kept pumping, but Mara stayed in this channel for like at least a month, if I'm correct. So I'm expecting to see something like that eventually real soon. We just got to see that retest that Bitcoin will lead with. We're going to see that retest. If we do find support there, great. I'll be up in the green with Bitcoin if we find support. And it will also create another confirmation of how strong this level is when it comes to holding up the price, right? So if we can hold the price strongly in this level, we could break below it very briefly, but we really want to see how well the price holds this area. And then if it does, it comes back up. We want to see that happen very quickly, because then this can create a very clear potential like accumulation zone for this asset right here. So if that support on Bitcoin fails, we can easily see Bitcoin come down into this area. This will be a super deep value, like no-brainer buying area in my opinion. I do want to see this channel form because again, it will create the necessary momentum and price stability that Mara needs to prove its bullishness and prove that it can actually sustain its market cap properly, which then gives us a better floor to later into this year go even higher. So again, what I'm looking for is the little pullback on Bitcoin into that blue area to find good support. I will begin accumulating BITU at that point, and then when we're there, we have to see what's going to happen with Mara. If we can come back down into this area and also bottom out the RSI once again without breaking this previous low, it will create a really good structure to keep an eye on for any potential longs that can begin in this area. And then if we do, it will be a good idea to continue respecting this imbalance area as a strong selling point until it is finally broken into the upside. So I'm looking for lower prices on Mara, very short term. And then if we do find support, again, leading with Bitcoin, we can look at this area once again as a strong selling opportunity. So I really hope this video made sense, guys. I'll make more of these very soon. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.